The roar of engines, the gleam of chrome, the weight of loyalty, these are the things that define a man who became larger than life. But behind the Hollywood legend lies a story that cuts deeper than any blockbuster. It's a tale of a boy who started with nothing, a man who fought for everything, and a soul still carrying scars that no spotlight can heal. From the shadows of poverty to the heights of fame, his journey is proof that even a broken heart can keep racing forward, fueled by grit and love. This is the story of a man who turned pain into power, and it's going to hit you right in the chest. Born in a world that didn't want him, he came into life with a blank space where a father's name should have been, a question mark etched into his story from the start. Raised by a single mother in California, a woman who chased dreams through star charts and small theater stages, he grew up in a home where love was plenty, but money was scarce. His mother, a poet of the cosmos, wove stories to quiet hungry nights. When he was 3, a kind-hearted theater teacher stepped into their lives, adopting him and his twin brother, bringing a flicker of stability to a family that lived on hope. They moved to New York's West Beth, a crumbling artist's haven where the walls held dreams and the heat barely worked. Sirens were his lullaby, and dinner was sometimes just a story. But in that dim apartment, imagination was their currency, and it kept them alive. He was a quiet kid, carrying an anger he couldn't name. Mirrors confused him. His reflection didn't fit the world's neat boxes. Too mixed to be one thing, too undefined to be another. The streets of 1970s New York were a battleground, painted with graffiti and lit by fading dreams. At 7, he and some friends slipped into a Greenwich Village theater, armed with crayons and trouble. They braced for sirens, but instead, the stage lights blazed on. A woman, the theater's director, didn't call the cops. She handed them scripts and a challenge: come back tomorrow and earn a few bucks performing. That moment was a fork in the road: destruction or creation. He chose the stage, and it became his home. A place to channel the chaos inside him into something real. If this story resonates with you, share it to inspire someone else who's fighting their own battles. Let's keep this tale alive by his teens. The world hadn't gotten kinder. College didn't fit hunger, spoke louder than lectures. He traded books for survival, working odd jobs by day and guarding nightclub doors by night. Manhattan's underbelly was his proving ground: strobe lights, spilled drinks, and fists flying in the dark. He fought men twice his size, exhaustion heavier than any punch. I wasn't living, he'd say later. I was surviving. Each rejection from casting directors stung like a fresh wound. His skin, his name, his very existence didn't fit their mold. Too ambiguous for their scripts, too real for their screens. So he stopped waiting for their approval. With $3,000 scraped together from friends, he bought a beat-up camera and poured his soul into a short film. It was raw, honest, a story of a man who didn't belong anywhere. That film, shot in 3 sleepless days, wasn't just a movie, it was a declaration of existence. That declaration reached a festival in France, where a legendary director saw it and saw him. A phone call later, the kid who'd guarded doors was on a battlefield set, acting alongside giants. That role cracked open Hollywood's gates, and soon he was no longer a nobody. He became the face of action, a name tied to speed, loyalty, and raw power. Films that roared onto screens, grossing hundreds of millions, turned him into a global force. But fame wasn't a warm embrace, it was a storm. The higher he climbed, the heavier the weight. Long days on set, endless press tours, and the pressure to be invincible took their toll. He chased perfection but lost peace. A sci-fi epic he poured his heart into flopped, leaving him in debt and doubt. Hollywood turned cold, and for a moment, he was alone again. But some fires don't go out. He returned to the franchise that made him, not just as its star, but as its soul. He rewrote scripts, pushed for bigger stakes, and carried the weight of a billion-dollar empire. Then tragedy struck. His closest friend, his brother on and off the screen, died in a car crash during filming. The loss was a gut punch, stopping production, breaking hearts. He locked himself away, grappling with grief that felt too big for words. When he returned, he poured that pain into the film, finishing it as a tribute. It became one of the biggest movies ever, but he didn't celebrate. He sat through the premiere in silence, watching a goodbye unfold on screen. If this story is hitting you, share it. Let it remind someone that even in loss, there's a reason to keep going. Fame brought wealth: millions, mansions, cars that gleamed like trophies. A Beverly Hills home with white stone walls and an infinity pool. A garage holding machines of pure power, each one a chapter of his life. But it also brought loneliness. Love slipped through his fingers like sand. A fierce romance born on a film set, burned bright, but couldn't survive the spotlight's glare. Another, quieter love with a woman far from Hollywood's chaos, offered peace for a while. He cooked her breakfast, learned her language, proposed with hope. But she wanted a life he couldn't give one without cameras. She left, and he let her go, keeping only a letter that thanked him for love in a world that moved too fast. Then, at 40, he met someone who saw the man, not the myth. A woman whose calm grounded him, whose smile didn't chase fame. They built a life of quiet mornings, 3 children, and a love that didn't need headlines. He became a father who cut umbilical cords, who named his youngest after his lost friend. Fame still pulled him away long nights on set, continents between him and home. But he set new rules. No filming on his kids' birthdays, no sacrificing family for the franchise. Their love isn't perfect, but it's real, built on loyalty stronger than any script. The storms kept coming. His body, once a fortress of muscle, began to betray him. Years of stunts, sleeping from cars, running through fire left scars on his knees, his shoulders, his spine. Doctors warned of fading mobility, but he kept moving, trading heavy weights for yoga, ego for balance. His mornings now are slow, deliberate, filled with gratitude instead of pain. Then came whispers, clashes with co-stars, a director walking off set, a lawsuit casting shadows. He stayed silent, letting his work speak. He'd mortgaged his home once to keep a film alive, wired millions to pay his crew. That's who he was, a man who paid the price for belief. At 58, he stands as a monument to endurance. From a boy with no father to a father who never misses a birthday. From a bouncer to a builder of empires. His story is one of resilience. He's not chasing fame anymore, he's crafting a legacy. Mentoring young dreamers, giving to those in need, quietly honoring the brother he lost. Every year, on the day his friend left this world, he stops. An empty chair sits on set, a jacket folded beside it, a photo of 2 brothers smiling. He doesn't say goodbye, because family doesn't end. It lives in memory, in love, in the courage to keep driving. If this story moves you, hit like, share it, and subscribe. Let it inspire someone to rise, to heal, to find their own road. Because his journey shows us that no storm lasts forever. Only the heart that refuses to quit does. May your days be filled with love, strength, and the peace to keep going, no matter what lies behind you.